Whoa! Hey! Man, talk about delay. Holy cow. Hope you all got your naps in. Of course, this is Mac T, and I'm back with you finally. And of course, what powers your edge, right? And of course, what powers your drive. But wow, I had false starts many times. And when you make a mistake, what happens is it sets you back 10 minutes. So I made 3 mistakes. Boom, boom, boom. It was a domino theory. But anyway, we're back and we're up and about. And gonna start out things here. First of all, saying welcome to all the new members here at MACTFORDEDGE here on Facebook. Because you know what, folks? You are what makes this group. And we had over 60-some new members. Wow, okay. Fantastic growth. Page is doing good. You're all being kind to each other, and that's really what I like. And of course, Mano is also liking that. We like people being respectful on the group and helping each other, and that's what we're after. But you know, let's get right into this to see what's going on. And had a lot of different things going, and some very impatient people. Yes, I won't name them, Steven and Jan and whoever else it was, Kevin. you guys are just waiting, right? But anyway, we got lots of postings going on and a lot of things. And we had a poll questions up there. I wanted to start out with those before I get into any Ford news. And there is some big news out, folks. And I want to let you guys know what's going on with that. But let's see, I can't find the poll questions. What happened to the poll questions? There they are. Okay, we had some questions on here, and I'm going to try to answer them the best I can with the knowledge that I have stored up into the bean pod here. And let's see what actually happens. So one question is, will Mano show us what he looks like? I don't know. You got to ask Mano. I know what he looks like. You know, he looks like a decent dude to me, so I can't tell you anything more than that. You will all probably die wanting to know what he looks like. I'm just going to say that he's a very suave, debonair, and handsome gentleman, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to vehicles and a Ford Edge specifically, and is well versed in the technical aspects. And he is a great friend of mine. So that being said, that's as far as you're going to get, folks. Sorry. That's it. Let's see. What priority should I use for maintenance on my high mileage all-wheel drive Edge beyond basic oil changes? Well, I don't know what you consider high mileage, folks. I consider high mileage anything over 200,000 miles. So, but as far as high mileage, you should have been doing the fluid changes all along before now. You're getting to the game a little late if you're going to say have 150,000 and you're deciding to now start doing fluid changes on a more frequent basis. But I run hours on my engine oil, and I have 2 different edges, and I run those differently based on the type of driving. You got to evaluate. Look on the Ford Edge website for maintenance, and then it asks you, do you have severe service? Or do you have towing? Answer those questions. It will list what you do. I personally change my oil on my Edge Lou, which is an all-highway driver, for an example, and I change the oil every 200 hours. Okay, that comes out to about 10,000 miles. Now, it's highway. Coolant I will change out about every 3 or 4 months. I'll do a drain and fill. And I just keep it rejuvenated, just repeat. Every 3 or 4 months, I'll do a drain and fill, and then leave it at that, and keep the coolant up to a higher level of new coolant that way. Transmission fluid, I run about 30 to 40,000 miles on the transmission fluid, and then I change the transmission fluid out at a 3 or 4 times drain and fill method. You can use the fluid exchange machine at the quick lube places. That'll do about the same thing. You'll never get 100%, but you'll get up into the 80s, maybe up to the 90% category when you do a 3-time or a 4-time drain and fill. The payback is less by the time you get to the 4th one, so you really don't want to do anything more than that. Transmission fluid we covered, coolant we covered, power steering fluid. If your Edge is 2014 and on backwards, you're going to have hydraulic power steering, so you want to change the power steering fluid out. I would say about every 60,000 miles minimum, maybe a little more. I change mine out probably about once a year or so. That's about 60,000 miles, and it's doing well. Brake fluid. You should take your brake fluid and at least every 2 to 3 years change your brake fluid out, because it is hydroscopic fluid and it absorbs water, so why not get that water out of there? So purge your brake fluid out by pumping it out through a drain method and refilling the reservoir up until you get good clean fluid back out of it. I wouldn't go any more than 3 years with it. What else do we have here? Oh, you should change your windshield washer fluid out whenever it's empty. And let's see, what else? Oh, the halogen fluid. Yeah, you got to make sure you check the halogen fluid. So whatever you do, make sure you do look that up. I think Mano has the part number for halogen fluid, so you can go ahead and get a hold of him, and he will direct you to the appropriate location to obtain the part number and then where to buy the halogen fluid. Other than that, the fluids are that's about maintenance. Oil changes, that's it. Just got to keep up on it. PTU, we've already done PTUs and we've discussed. I recommend 15,000 miles, but I guess some folks are going up to 30 and having pretty good luck. But it depends on your driving. Severe driving condition, towing, I'd change it at 15,000 miles. If you're just doing normal highway driving, you might get away with it at 30,000 miles. But you want to make sure you do increase that frequency there, and make sure you change that PTU. And that RDU, rear differential unit, yeah, I would change that out about 60,000 miles. I don't care what they say. That probably needs to have new fluid in it too. And just keep up on the fluid changes on that. It is not lifetime fluid, although the RDUs do pretty good. There's not too many failures there. What else do we have? When will we see a hybrid powered Edge MKX? Now, I don't know what you folks mean by hybrid powered. I'm assuming electric. I'm not seeing anything on electric Ford Edge. There's other vehicles they've targeted at Ford to be electric vehicles, but to go all electric with a Ford Edge, I just don't see it. But what I do see, though, is they are starting to use some of the hybrid technology in the Edge, and a lot of you may experience it, and that is the start-stop technology. That's where they toss in a bigger battery and a larger starter, and every time you hit the brakes and stop at a stoplight, the engine dies. There's pluses and minuses to that, is that if you're running certain systems on your Edge, they will not allow the engine to turn off. So the start-stop technology only works under certain conditions, and therefore it is not a real big gain, because if you're running the AC, the engine ain't going to stop, no matter if you hit the brakes or not. It's just one of those things. So hybrid, fuel cells, all this stuff, I don't see an Edge having that in the future. It's a ways down the road yet, I think. Would it be in the 3rd generation? We might start seeing something like that, but right now, not seeing it. I think that's about right there, the chance of us seeing diesels in the United States. It's just not in the plans or in the works for this platform right now. Let's see. I want a new Edge. What engine should I buy? Okay. Now, I'm going to go with the open statement. I want a new Edge. Now, a new Edge will come right now, currently, with the flavor of the 3.5. And then the 2.0, which is a single turbo. And then, of course, the twin turbo 2.7. I've never really had a long endurance with a 2.0 or a 2.7. Haven't been hearing of too many turbo failures on them, but a turbo failure is about the equivalent of a PTU failure or a water pump failure, or say for the engine, keep it engine-wise. A turbo failure is about as bad as a oil or a water pump failure on a 3.5 Duratorq. Okay, so you look at that and see which one's going to last longer. Some have had their turbos go out on them. I've had it on the forum, and then the water pumps go out. So it's a if thing. Turbos though are not built in the 80s like they were, where they just slapped everything together and said, "Gee, you're a turbo, go on and have fun." They were slapping turbos on anything that they thought they could slap it onto, and then the old Buick debacle where they took a V6 engine that was a gas engine and turned it into a diesel. That was a big failure too. It just didn't work, folks. It just wasn't any good. But today, if I had to go buy a Ford Edge and say I'm going to do all highway driving, what engine would I buy? Now, since I'm all highway, I can't see spending the extra money for the 2.7. I can't. It's a sport. That's the only version you're going to get it in. And then two, I'm not a real big fan of big wheels, so I'm out of there. Okay, I'm out of the sport edition. Now we're talking, what do I want to do to get the best engine for the job that I have to do? Now, on one hand, I got the 3.5. 3.5, Old Faithful, right? Non-aspirated. It's just a big old lump of steel that's been durable as all can get out. It's proven itself over the years. So I got the 3.5, but the 2.0. Now the 2.0 does put out, that little torquey son of a gun that it is, out better than the 3.5. So if I'm on the highway, would I want that better engine, or would I want the 3.5? Now, I would say at this point, I would probably leave my favorite on the lot, and I would probably go with the 2.0. Get a little bit better gas mileage, got the turbo performance going with it, and the problem that I have with that, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the problem I have with going with the 2.0 is I'm actually taking a step back on the transmission, because the transmission is not the 6F50 transmission. You are then going to the Ford Escape transmission, which is the 6F35, which guess what? I don't like. Okay, that's what's in the Ford Escape. It's a lighter transmission. So, you guys thought I was going to go with that. Yep. 2.0 transmission. Okay. 3.5 6F50 transmission. Guess what, folks? I would still, for longevity, because the 6F50 has proven itself, the 6F35 has fallen on its head a few times. So, to stay with it, I would still end up going, ultimately, with the 3.5 and the 6F50 transmission. Now, if I had the money, my other choice would be the 2.7 with the 6F55 transmission. I'm going to leave the 2.0 on the table. Might leave it for the wife to drive. I don't know. But for me to drive, I would go with the 3.5 yet in 6F50 transmission for long haul durability. And if I wanted to try it out and had the money, jump onto the 2.7 with the 6F55 transmission, which is, again, a heavier duty version of the 650, where the 6F35 is lighter duty. Okay, so ultimately, if I had the money, and I know you guys thinking I'm on a roller coaster here, right? Okay, if I had the cash, I had what I wanted to do, I would today, if I had it, go out and buy a 2000 whatever year Ford Sport with the 9-speed transmission. Yes, I wouldn't buy the 6F55. Yeah, you guys are just going, Bill, you're nuts. What are you talking about? Well, I wouldn't buy a new Edge until the 9-speed came out. And that's due out anytime soon. So hang on to your nickels, wait, and then get the 9-speed transmission with the 2.7. I mean, man, talk about turbo, more gear ratios. Man, that thing's going to run sweet. And it's going to be the power shift transmission. It's going to be dual clutch. And on top of that, it's going to be a wet dual clutch. It will not be the Ford Focus fiasco, because it will be a hydraulic wet clutch system. It won't be the direct clutch dry system that the Ford Focus has been falling on its face about. So you're going to get a revamped transmission that is brand new, researched and developed for 9-speed select shift, everything. You're going to get a great transmission. It's destined, as they say, to be a better, firmer shifting transmission. So wait till you get the 2.7 Sport with the 9-speed transmission, and you will be good. But overall today, guys, if I had to buy a Ford Edge today, walk out on the lot, I would buy a 3.5 all-wheel drive. Yes, I'd jump into the all-wheel drive category because I think we got that thing beat. We know how to take care of it. And also the 6F50 transmission. So that's my deal. That's what I would end up still going with, folks, just because that 3.5 is so durable. You can't go wrong with it. Little care and it keeps going. What else did we have as far as questions? Let's see. Miss Karen says, what is the best value for engine oil? Well, Miss Karen, it not necessarily is the best value, but what is the best thing for your Edge? And that is full synthetic engine oil. And the key to it all is frequency. Do not run it and run it and run it. Change it out often and use a good filter. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Buy a good quality filter. I use a Purolator Boss filter, high particulate, high mileage filter. The Amsoil filters are really good, high efficiency. The Ford Motorcraft, buy the bigger filter. Don't buy the smaller one. Buy the bigger one. And of course, you got more filter media that goes through it. But engine oil, you know, any brand that you really want to go with. I'm not going to get into an engine oil discussion. Buy what's on sale that is a synthetic, that's a name brand. Mobil One, Castor Oil, Pennzoil, whatever it is, okay? And change it. Change it often. That's the key to it. I bet you I could almost run a super tack through this thing from Walmart, change it every 3,000 miles, and be perfectly fine. According to Blackstone Labs, the frequency of the oil change is the key, not necessarily the oil. And they say there's really no big differences in oil. It's just frequency. And where they see problems is because the frequency wasn't there. So that's the best value. Just find whatever's on sale, run it, you know, whatever the severe service is for you, and then change it again, and you'll be fine. Does dealer change PT oil or throttle body cleaning when the vehicle goes in for service? Well, Harry, I don't know what your service is being done, but you know, I guess a service on a PTU is not necessarily going to be part of an oil change unless you specifically ask for it, and they will charge you more for it because it's more of a repair in their mind than it is a service. But you're going to have to ask them. Also, throttle body, they rarely go in and clean a throttle body unless you specifically request that. So that, again, would be part of an additional service that you would pay for. Again, service, what they're talking about, rotating tires, changing oil, filling your coolant and your windshield washer up and moving you out and shipping you down the road. That's pretty much what I think they're looking at there. So that's what you're going to be getting. You're going to have to specifically ask for these things. Otherwise, they're not going to get it. Let's see. What else we got? Okay, is it true Mano is wanted by the CIA and that he sleeps upside down like a bat? Holy cow, you guys. Where do you get these questions at? Jan? Well, Jan, I can't say that that is what he does. You know, I know he keeps crocodiles in the backyard because he goes out and wrestles them every other day for just light duty exercise. But other than that, salesmen never seem to leave his house. I don't know what the heck that's all about. The alligators look fat though, so anyway, that looks like that's all the questions you guys got up. Well, as silly as they are, but that seems to be some of the questions that have been asked about, and we got a lot of things going on. Let's see. Lately here we've been having a lot of fuel. Purge valves are popping like popcorn around here. Holy cow! What's going on with that? Those purge valves are dropping like flies. So yeah, if you start having starting issues and long starts after refueling and stuff like that, or even get a gas tank warning light, that's telling you that you do not have a good working purge valve probably. Check the vacuum on my videos and make sure that that's, of course, going to be in good shape. What else do we got going on here? Let's see. You guys hearing me all right out there? Give me a thumbs up if you do. But what else do we have here? I know I got some other stuff going on. But let's see. No comments yet. No comments, but hey, I guess you guys are still hearing me, so I'll keep going. But let's see. What else we got on our... let's see. No more questions. Holy cow. It's... Okay. Anyone thought about adding to their Edge the EcoBoost or Turbo to their Edge, and is it even possible? Not entirely possible. Unless you got a lot of this, yeah. You can do it, but it's going to cost you. And the problem with the 3.5, 3.7 in there is that there's not much room to work with. So you're going to have to break out the Sawzall on top of it. And it's just not going to be a pretty sight. So I'm going to say that's a question everybody asks. I guess you could go the Australian method and mount the turbo under the car in the back and then reroute all the gases back to the engine. I've seen them do that. That's silly all by itself. It works. I'm going to tell you, it works. But that's a long trip for the exhaust from that turbo. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Got a lot of folks selling cars and buying cars and having all sorts of interesting comments on that. We got a Ford Focus that's, I guess, heading to the junkyard. And let's see what else. Some DTC codes on different things. Folks having to do repairs. But basically, we got a lot of different things going on here. Let's see. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, and transmission is jerking. Okay, the transmission, according to everything I asked, everything is good. A cam reset probably would be the last-ditch effort. And then if you keep feeling, you have issues, I guess you're going to have to take it to the shop to get it fixed or checked at least. But here's the deal, folks. When I'm in traffic and it's start and stop and real slow, you will get a jerky feeling out of your transmission. Okay, you're not going and accelerating, you're stopping, you're accelerating, you're stopping. The 6F50 transmission is not a precise transmission as you would say in a sports car. So when you're in that start and stop thing, it's gonna behave not refined is the best way I can explain it. So it's gonna sort of feel bumpy and jerky while you're doing that, because it doesn't know whether to accelerate or decelerate and whether to shift or not shift. It takes pressures to do that. So I'm going to say it's predominantly a normal pattern for the 6F50 transmission. There's no big difference there. So it's where it's at. So we're going to move on. I know we got a lot of stuff going on in the group, but I also got a lot of other information that I do want to cover. And let me see if I can't find it here. And we're going to start out with Ford news. Yes, Ford news is coming up. So let's get started on the Ford news. Did you know that Ford issued some recalls? Yes. And they had nothing to do with the Edge. But they did issue some recalls on their 2016 F-150 Ford and Ford Explorers. And it has to do with seats. Okay, seats that feel wobbly in the front passenger and front driver's area. Basically, they're built in Dearborn, Kansas City, or Chicago assembly plants. So if you got a problem with your seats, and you got a 2016, then that's where you're going to go. You're going to go to your dealer and get it checked out. It's a very small recall in a lot of ways, but basically that's what's going on there. If you got a Ford motorhome chassis, guess there's a recall on that. Basically, the strip chassis, they're having some electronic control units with their braking, so they've got a brake system problem in those chassis. So if you got a Ford motorhome base unit, then you might want to get that checked out. And that's usually the F53 and F59 chassis. So and that's very limited too. The 2011 through 2012 Ford Explorers vehicles are to be replaced the rear suspension toe links. So if you own a Ford Explorer, okay, of the 2011 to 2012 variety, and you are a Canadian living in Alberta, Saskatchewan, or Manitoba, you are in luck. You get a recall. Yes, it's very limited, and it's also going to cover the Ford Police Interceptor vehicles too. So, but basically, this pretty much is right around the Canada area that I just named. So they got some problems there. Transit Connects are having some safety recalls done on them. Basically, a side curtain may deploy accidentally if it gets a tear in the covering or something like that. So yeah, don't be picking at those threads of that side curtain in that Transit. It'll blow up in your face. And that's the 2018 model year, and some of them were made July 2017 through October 2017. Ford Expedition vehicles for second row seat travel, assembly bolt concerns. I guess if you have a 2018 Ford Expedition, you're going to get a recall. Hey, didn't they just make those things? Wow. Okay. Well, they haven't even got them out the lot hardly, and they're already recalling them. So I guess that was an assembly fiasco there. But it's like 566 of them that are being recalled. So that's pretty much that on the Ford news on that aspect for recalls. Now let's get some highlights. I don't know if you guys knew this, but a little catch up on the news. And let's see. Guess what Ford SUV, or CUV as they say, managed to chalk up a 25.5% increase in sales. Do you know what one it was? Well, get this, folks. The Ford Edge sales were up 22.5% for November, with an overall increase in sales of 22.5% for the year. The Ford Edge is knocking it out of the park. It actually did better than the Escape. Yes, the Ford Edge did better than the Escape. Escape sales only gained 9.1%. So Focus sales went up 44.9% for their sales. So the Focus is selling pretty good. Lincoln MKX sales increased by almost 7% for November. Yes, I wonder what the new sales point's going to be for this all-new Nautilus. What do you think? Speaking of Nautilus, the Nautilus is coming, folks, and I don't care what you say. I think the Nautilus is a sharp car. Man, if I had the money to throw away, I would buy myself a Nautilus. And those things are going on sale in about 8 months. They're saying by the summer of 2018, they will be on showroom floors. So the Nautilus is now the new name for the old MKX, in case you didn't know. So the Nautilus is moving right on up the line. And then, of course, Edge sales totaled, let's see, how many Edges were sold? Let's see, for November, 13,180 Ford Edges were sold in November. Get this, folks. It was a new record for November. And guess who bought the most Ford Edges? Women. Ford is seeing a growing number of women buying the Edge. Now, it's not quite, half, but it was 48%, folks. And 53 or 54% of the Escapes are bought by women. But almost half of all Edge purchases now are bought by women. Okay? So the Edge running 50-50, men and women buying the Edge, with a vast majority of, then for the Escape being 54%. New Explorers, they did post a little bit of a sales increase. 21,520 Ford Explorers. So essentially they're almost double, not quite double, what the Edge sales were. And the F-150, basically, wow, they made record sales in 16 years. Okay, so they've done a lot of there. So that is our news for the Ford and Edge and everything else. And of course, we're going to get into what I really wanted to get into, and that, of course, is the Ford Edge UK. Okay, this is for all the members that are in Ford Edge UK, which is a Facebook group. Okay, now I got this information. I got some photographs I'll be showing during this presentation from Matt Clay. He runs the Ford Edge UK Facebook group, which if you guys saw the little icon up there, just go into our group here, go to the top, click and join. If you want to find out what the Ford Edge UK group is all about, join that group. But we're going to go over the different Ford Edge models and what they have for you to satisfy your curiosity if you never knew. Because guess what? The Ford Edge in the United Kingdom is not the Ford Edge we get here in the United States. Nowhere near it. It is a whole different horse. So we're going to start out with some interesting things. First of all, there are only 3 trim lines. Okay? There are only 3 trim lines available for the Ford Edge in the United Kingdom. And of those trim lines, the titanium is the low line. Yes, it is the bottom. The titanium is the bottom line. The ST, yes, the ST is the sport trim. They don't call it sport, they call it ST line over in the United Kingdom. And then the top of the line appearance package, refinement, and everything else, the outside appearance, is the Venale. The Venale is the top of the line accoutrements and shiny stuff and seats, and it's the prestige one. Okay, so now we have the titanium, which is the basic. Then we have the ST line, which is your sport, and then we got the prestige one, which is the Venale. So what do we do as far as those go? Well, the titanium, pretty much it comes standard with a lot of things, of course, that we get in there. But it does have fog lights, which we don't get in ours. Okay, it has 19-inch tires, just like everybody else. It has automatic headlights, all that stuff. Rear view camera, privacy glass, body color spoiler, parking sensors, key-free system, hands-free power tailgate. They do have the DAB audio with navigation system. Not sure exactly what that is. This Ford DAB audio system. Something more to research on that. But it does have the Sync 3 with the 8-inch color touch screen and sports style variable heated front seats. So the seats get heated, dual zone climate, all that stuff goes to active. But here's the catch. It has active city stop with pedestrian detection. Active city stop with pedestrian detection. It has traffic sign recognition. And then it has, of course, its lane keeping aids. Ambient lighting, auto dimming rear view mirror, velour front and rear floor mats, and a premium instrument cluster. And it comes with a 220 volt outlet in the center console, so you can plug stuff into it. So that's really what that titanium has on it. The ST line is a little bit different critter too, and I'll get to the engines here soon. But it has 20-inch wheels come standard on it in the sport body style and the blacked out grille and all this other stuff on the exterior that goes with it. But it has a unique finish on the front, and then of course it has a sports suspension to it. So they added the sports suspension, and it has black roof rails to it. Still has the Sony DAB audio with navigation and a pedal set with aluminum covers. Yes, you got to have that race pedal, right? So it does come with those because they're aluminum, and then it also has partial leather trim and other things that go with it. And then 10-way power seats and 8-way power passenger seat. But again, you have that blacked out grille, whereas the other one is the chrome grille for the titanium. But you have that blackout that's going on there. Now, we get to the Venale. The Venale also runs polished aluminum wheels, 20 inches, and it has a unique Ford Venale exterior styling with chrome detailing. What they've done is they put the chrome along the base area, running along the body line underneath the lower part of the edge. So you got that chrome piece going there. The front grille is chromed with honeycomb. You don't have the bars across. It's all a honeycomb pattern across the front. And the lower front valance is also chromed, and it has chrome bars running across the front of it. And then, of course, you do have a better, it looks like a little bit better styling for chrome for the roof rails and other enhancements on that. So it has a lot more chrome, but it also has a perforated leather interior for the seats and everything that go with that. And of course it has a leather trim steering wheel and then enhanced ambient lighting, and it has an illuminated, instead of edge, it has an aluminum Venale door scuff plate on it. Okay, so it'll say Venale on the door scuff plate that illuminates when you open the door. So that's the difference there. Okay, now we move on to some other accoutrements that will go and help. Also options are the inflatable rear seat belts that they have, along with an adaptive front lighting system with LED headlights. Yes, LED headlights over in the UK. Okay, so you got all that going for you over there. It does come with a couple of different engines. Now, the choice is between diesel and diesel. Two engines, both are 2 liters. Okay? Both diesel engines are 2-liter engines. Both diesel engines are made by Peugeot. Yes, the diesels are made by Peugeot. They are Peugeot diesel engines. Now here's the deal. You got the 2.0 Duratorq turbo diesel TDCi 210 PS. That is the twin turbocharger that they put into it. Okay? It is a twin turbocharger engine. That is the top of the line. That is the most ponies you're going to get out of it. It has a maximum power of 210 PS, 0 to 62 in 9.4 seconds. And then, of course, it has a difference where you can put an automatic power shift select transmission, or you can go with the option of the manual transmission. And we'll cover the transmissions in a bit. But this is the Vinali or the Sport that you're going to be getting these engines in. They only got about 5 colors you can pick from. You either get blue metallic, lightning blue, shadow black, or white gold or ruby red. That is pretty much what you're going to get. 20-inch tires, 19 being the smallest. A lot of things they can add. They got, of course, the panoramic roof that comes with it. And we all know about that, right? Yeah, what a good deal. But what are we looking at? We got their intelligent all-wheel drive system that it comes with. And, of course, it is pretty much electronic power steering assist, gear shift indicators, auto start-stop system is included in all of them. Auto start-stop system, that means when you hit the brake and come to a light, it turns off. So just keep that in mind. And I'll cover that in a bit too about the engine, because I got some demonstration video of the engine and, of course, what it will cover there. But as far as everything goes with that, what else do we have? We got different colors that go with them. And I'm trying to read through all this real quick because there's a lot of information here, but I want to get to the engines. So we can get to those engines. Like I said, let me slide over to the other one. And that is the, if you get the manual transmission on your Edge, then you're pretty much going to be delegated to the single turbo diesel engine. So if you want to have the twin turbo diesel engine with the Ford Edge in the UK, you have to buy the automatic. But if you want the single turbo, you can get the manual transmission on that. And of course that is 180 PS and it makes 0 to 60 in 9.9 seconds. So it's no slacker. It does pretty good. Torque and everything, let's see, maximum power 210, torque for the 201 turbo is 400, and with the 2.0 twin turbo it is a 450. So not too bad. Pretty decent little engine in there, putting out lots of different things that go with it. Again, you got other colors. You got ingot silver, Oxford white, white platinum, magnetic, and amestita scuro, whatever that is. That must be the Vinali paint job that's going on there. But basically, park assist, they got everything. And if you got the Vinali, of course, the screen, when on the startup screen, we'll pull up the Vinali signature on your LCD screen when you do go to light stuff up. Now, we're going to move on from this. This is, pretty much what it has, but I wanted to cover, the engine's made by Peugeot. Well, the transmissions, yes, the transmissions are made by another company we don't know about, okay? Now, from what I've been looking at in the transmissions, it's probably a 6DCT200 6-speed dual wet clutch transmission. Okay, and this transmission is made by, I can't even pronounce their name. They're German. Okay, it's a German company. They even got one across this in Michigan, I think, by Ford. This company has one of their sites there, but it's called a Getrag. Getrag, and this company makes transmissions for many vehicles. Okay, they don't make just one transmission. They make transmissions worldwide, and they are making the transmission for the Ford Edge UK manual and the Select Shift, and they are also the ones that make the dry direct shift for the Ford Focus. that some people are complaining about. So, that in a nutshell is really so you know where this transmissions come from. Basically, they're the world's largest supplier of transmission systems for passenger cars and commercial vehicles. This is a humongous corporation that makes all these transmissions. But basically, they make everything for everybody. Europe, Asia, North America, in 24 locations, over almost 13,000 employees worldwide. So, pretty busy company. They make transmissions for BMW, Daimler, Ferran, Mitsubishi, Porsche, Coros, Renault, Volkswagen, Aisin, Borg Warner, and some other ones that they named there. So they're making Borg Warner. You guys know that? Well, guess where Borg Warner gets their transmissions from? Getrag, right? So, hey, Universal. Little do we know where our stuff comes from, but it all comes from the same plant. We just slap different names on it. That's all there is to it. But that, again, is the transmission. So if you didn't know what that is, it does use that select speed and select shift, power shift, or whatever you want. Dual clutch, semi-automatic gearbox, and it's called the Ford Power Shift. Paddle shifting all your way through the automatic there with the manual, and you'll see that on the left side because they sit on the wrong side of the car. But, okay, they sit on the right side of the car. We think they're sitting on the wrong side of the car. This should be on the left side, but either way, that's the way it's set up. So you got to remember what lane to drive in and all that good stuff. But I got some information, some video here at the end of all this. So if you're watching this and you want to see it, I was given the courtesy of giving some photos of the interior, the engine, and also of it being started up. And keep in mind, these diesel engines do not have to be start and warmed up. They are immediate start engines. In other words, you get in, you turn the key. You don't have to wait for glow plugs. And I got video demonstration of that also coming up at the end of all this. You will see the photographs and the demonstrations of the front cluster lighting up and also the start up and run. And I believe I will be getting a special video of sorts put together for a focus spotlight video by Matt here in the future, if I get it from him. So Matt, let me know what's going on with that. But that will be, of course, our focus video on that as far as spotlight video. Once we do get that video to me, so I can put it in there. But look forward to seeing that, and of course going over that vehicle, so we all can get a good idea what do these Ford Edges look like over in the UK. But that being said, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to put out today. I do want everybody to say thank you for your patience today and me getting started up. Had a couple of issues technically, and I'm making improvements. I have bought equipment to update this channel where I can take phone calls, and they actually sound better because they're going to be running through my sound system if I can figure out how to hook it up. So I'm putting money into this channel from everything I do in my meager budget that I have. So I'm just trying to make it better and better so you guys can all enjoy the phone calls, because I do have some interviews I want to do, and I want to record those interviews. I get one with Blackstone Laboratories that's coming up. I'm going to be doing that, and then of course some other folks that I'm going to be doing phone interviews with that I'm still working on lining up. But I want to make them part of the whole live thing and get this. And then of course, do not forget my SoundCloud. My SoundCloud podcasts, of course, do not cover a lot of things that are in this MACTFORDEDGE live or anything else. So those are totally different flavors of what you're going to get in what I'm talking about, because I don't talk about those SoundClouds too much. I post them on here on the group, but I don't address those issues that I addressed in the SoundCloud. So you will get something different, so it's worthwhile going to the SoundCloud. So whatever you do, jump over there to the SoundCloud, and of course, listen to the podcast there as I put them up. and get going with that. But everything else is pretty good. I got a few projects I'm going. I see I'm at 130 hours on my oil, so look forward to a valve cover and I think it's going to be a oil sending unit, oil sensor switch, pressure sensor switch is going to be replaced during that time frame because it's right down there, and I'll probably do a video on that along with anything else I happen to pop up with. I am taking and getting Rufus, my Ranger, repaired. I'm not going to do it, folks. I don't have the time. It's one of those deals. But I will have Rufus repaired with a new rear suspension, leaf spring shocks, brackets, everything else that needs to go with it. So Rufus will be up and running, so you'll see more of him hauling stuff around for me and doing that. But again, we do have our spotlight video here, and Akai J, he did some light work on here. It's a short little clip where you guys can see it. I'll post it in right about now. So let's see what Akai J has to say. All right, you saw that light work show he did, and he's always doing a lot of other work on his Edge, and we look forward to seeing more of his projects on there. But that was a spotlight video, and we all enjoyed that. That was snazzy, and he did that video editing himself, so I can't stake claim to that at all, but it is a great one. So as with all things, I'm having a great day. So we're going to go ahead and end all this. Remember, join MACT Facebook group. Yes, this group is growing ever quicker. So join up MACT Ford Edge on Facebook. And then, of course, like and subscribe to the YTS. Hit that like button. And you will not be able to comment on my videos. If you want to get a comment to me, you will have to go to MACT Ford Edge on Facebook. Hit the join button. And then, of course, you can contact me on there. I am funneling everything to MACT Ford Edge on Facebook because I don't want to have a ton of blogs going on. So if you want to get a hold of me, that's where you're going to do it. This is MACT Ford Edge, and by all means, I want you to take and listen to Mercy Girl and her one-liners, and the band of ones got some things they're going to toss at you, and we're going to move on. And my feet hit the floor today, and I'm having a great day, and I want you to have a great day too.
Thank you for watching MACT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Girl production.